Now at 10, Salt Lake City's air is among the worst in the entire world right now. We're tracking whether it might get better in the days to come and breaking down what doctors say about what to do when you go outside. Plus, an attempted sexual assault tonight just off the University of Utah campus. More on what police say happened and their search for the suspect as they release an alert to the entire student body.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC 4 News at 10 starts now.
And good evening. It's great to have you with us on this Sunday night. I'm Nick McGurk. Well, air quality is certainly a concern again today. This smoke just lingering in the air, creating problems for everybody, right? Not just those who are sensitive to pollution, and you're certainly feeling it if that's the category you're in. We want to show you a current air quality index here in Salt Lake City. Right now, you can see us right there at number 2, 3 in the world, very much in the second category there for most polluted city in the world right now. Certainly, this latest surge in particulate matter in our air continues to be fueled by those wildfires burning out west. We have meteorologist Dina Friedman filling in tonight. Been tracking all this. Dina, any relief in sight?
A little bit here on Monday as we get a little bit of wind shift, but overall the pattern will be flowing with air from the west, and that will still give us continued haze throughout the week, but the slight wind shift that we'll have tomorrow will help us out a little bit. So our air quality, you saw the smoky haze out there. If you live anywhere in Utah tonight, it's pretty smoky. In southern Utah, you had a little bit of reprieve because you had some southwest winds earlier on. Air quality in the red and orange for most counties. A few lucky people. Southern Utah, you actually had a nice reprieve for some of the afternoon, barely, as some of your air got a little bit better. And some of that, you can see the red arrows on here. You've got the wind out of the south. And remember, our wildfires are all just to the west. So as we have this cold front come through, that is changing the air just a little bit. And it did cool off a little bit as that cold front sinking through as well. Temperatures are in the 80s. So going into the night here, we'll still have the continued smoke and haze, but we'll talk in more details about how that'll clear up just a tiny bit tomorrow. Okay,
thanks, Dina. Well, we want to talk about Salt Lake City's air pollution, currently ranking, as I said, second worst among all major cities in the entire world right now. Air quality in Salt Lake City is not improving, at least right now. Smoke from those wildfires continuing, as Dina said, to hover over our sky. So the question now is whether people need to wear masks. Do you need to wear your mask when you breathe in these pollutants? ABC 4's Jordan Burroughs is live trying to get answers for us. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, Nick. Local doctors and even national doctors say it's pretty much up to the individual. However, if you do have any pre-existing conditions, especially any breathing issues with your lungs, doctors do advise that, especially with the air quality this bad, that someone wear a KN95 mask or an N95 mask outdoors with this air pollution being so bad. The air pollution actually on that air quality index ranks about 160 right now. That air quality means it's unhealthy for people to breathe in at this point. It means some members of the general public may experience some health effects, but members of sensitive groups, like I mentioned, may experience more serious health effects. Overall, and like I mentioned, the smoke it affects everyone here in the state. The Salt Lake County Health Department says close your windows, work out indoors, and consider using an N95 mask. Intermountain Healthcare Dr. Elizabeth Joy, she agrees with that statement. And people at Liberty Park, when I spoke to them today, they said they thought about wearing a mask outdoors. Joel Scott says he thinks the air pollutants may have actually gotten him sick.
It's pretty bad. I feel like I can't see anywhere and breathing. I've had a little bit of a scratchy throat, wondering if it's related to this, you know. So it's pretty bad. It's pretty much the worst I've seen it here.
Tomorrow, the air pollution, it might get just a little bit better. There'll be some wind that comes into the state that will knock that down from the skies, but just for a little bit of a period of time. Come Tuesday, come Wednesday, those air pollutants may be just as bad as they were today. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Jordan Burroughs, ABC 4 News.
Okay, thanks, Jordan. Obviously, this is something we will continue to track for you, both on air and online. We have our ABC 4 News app to tell you about. You can get your news. It's super easy. You just download the ABC 4 News app by scanning the QR code. Yes, the QR code right there on your screen. New at 10, the University of Utah on high alert tonight after an attempted sexual assault. Now, this happened on the Bonneville Shoreline Trail in the Red Butte Canyon area by the University of Utah campus. Now, details still being ironed out right now as far as exactly what happened, but this alert went out to the campus. Police do tell us they're looking for an older man with a light complexion who was riding a bike along the trail at the time of this attempted assault. If you have any information, you're asked to call University Police there. You can see that number at the bottom of your screen. Also new at 10, a young boy is dead after being severely burned. This happened near Gillespie Avenue and Navajo Street in Salt Lake City. Police say he was playing with some type of fuel and accelerant when things just got out of control. There is an investigation going on as we speak, but it does appear, according to authorities, that this was a tragic accident. And new tonight, Black Lives Matter Utah chapter president Lex Scott has stepped down from both her post with BLM Utah and as president of Utah's Black History Museum. Now, in a lengthy Facebook post tonight, she describes the circumstances that led her to the decision to move her family away from Utah. Scott named Ray Duckworth as her successor with Black Lives Matter Utah and Mario Mathis as the president of the Utah Black History Museum. The Nephi Fire Department investigating a hydrogen peroxide chemical explosion, leaving behind significant property damage. Officials telling us the site was used to bleach animal skulls. Luckily, nobody was hurt. Moving on to national news now, here's what we can tell you. We're following massive wildfires burning in the west tonight. You know about this. You've seen the smoke. Hundreds of homes are gone. Thousands of buildings are threatened. A number of people also unaccounted for. Firefighters are injured. There's just so much going on here. ABC's Zoreen Shah in Greenville, California.
That's right. Every single home in this community looks like this, just brought to the ground. But through the destruction, we're seeing just remnants of people's everyday lives. You can see kitchen appliances right here. The car behind us is still in the driveway, patio seating, or what remains of it right here. This fire moved through this area incredibly fast. Authorities fear that not everyone made it out. This morning, officials are desperately searching for 4 people who were unaccounted for in the California Dixie fire. We spoke to a close friend of one of those missing people last night who says they are urgently trying to track down their friend but haven't been able to get in touch with them. Dixie is now the 3rd largest wildfire in California history, raging on with no relief in sight, burning an area the size of Houston and yet only 21% contained. 14,000 structures are still threatened, close to 400 already destroyed. Authorities say 4 firefighters were injured fighting the blaze, 1 still recovering in the hospital. PG&E, California's largest power company, has said it's possible their equipment may have had a role in starting the Dixie fire. Overnight, a federal judge ruled that the company has 1 week to explain how it might have had a role and where exactly they believe the fire started. And they want a list of every fire PG&E may have been responsible for this season. Now here in Greenville, evacuees who we spoke to, they are just trying to get by. They didn't just lose their homes, they lost their entire community. So many of them were born here, they were raised here, and they just don't know what they're going to do next. Back to you.
A lot of heartache across the country, folks having ties to that area in California. All right, let's move on now to national politics. The U.S. Senate is 1 step closer now to passing a massive infrastructure bill. Lawmakers say they're optimistic they're going to pass President Joe Biden's bipartisan infrastructure deal after clearing its final serious hurdle this evening. In a 68-29 vote, the Senate closed down debate on a bill that spends $550 billion in new money on the nation's physical infrastructure. Final passage of the legislation is expected late Monday night or in the wee hours of Tuesday, we're told, at the latest. Now, Senator Mitt Romney taking to Twitter today responding to this bill, saying, quote, "The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act is $550 billion in new spending, not $1.2 trillion, as some have said." Now, our bill costs 1/3 of what President Trump proposed. It includes fiscally responsible pay-fors, including unused COVID-19 relief funds, and doesn't raise taxes. Meantime, here in Utah, the Salt Lake County Election Division is encouraging voters to complete and return their mail-in ballots for the 2021 municipal primary elections. Make sure they do that, though, by Election Day on August 10th. Primary elections only apply to voters living in Harriman, Murray, Taylorsville, West Jordan, and West Valley City. Let's talk about COVID now. It's spread across the United States. What's happening? Hospitalizations, they are continuing to surge across the country. Obviously, we've heard about this Delta variant, right? That's what's fueling this. In Utah and elsewhere, parents, what are they talking about? The return to school brings a huge unknown to this ever-changing pandemic. Let's talk about Atlanta, Georgia. One county even putting students in quarantine after an outbreak. In Florida, they had 23,000 new total cases of COVID announced on Friday. That's a pandemic record there. Meantime, there are more hospitalized children in Florida with COVID-19 than anywhere else in the country.
The likelihood of a child getting serious disease compared to an elderly person or someone with an underlying condition is absolutely less. But less doesn't mean zero. These kids are getting sick. We've really got to make sure we protect them.
So we have a rise in pediatric cases, a lot of communities grappling with mask policies, of course with school returning. Especially true in Florida, as we mentioned, Governor Ron DeSantis issuing an executive order preventing mask mandates in schools. Coming up in this broadcast, the Great Salt Lake made Utah famous. But over the past few years, the lake has continued to dry up. And so tonight, we're taking a look back at what exactly made our salty lake so great. That story definitely worth watching.
And we still have a lot of smoke in the area here on our Sunday, but how's it looking for tomorrow? We'll break down your smoke forecast after the break.